Okay, hi Pa. Welcome to our special Fusion 360 tutorial. Today I have a special guest with us.
Me!
Sebastian!
Yay.
Okay, we are going to create a new project folder. So, new project, and we are going to call it tutorial. Tutorial. Enter. Okay, let's go into that folder by double clicking on it. Okay, now let's save our untitled project because I like to save our work before we get going. Good habit get into. So file, there it is there. Save. Save. And we are going to call it sketch. Oops. Sketch tutorial. And it's in the location tutorial. Let's go save. And there's our file right there. Okay. Let's get going. The first thing we want to do, what are you doing? First thing we want to do is create a sketch. Now, there's two ways that we can create a sketch. We can go up into the toolbar at the top here and click create sketch, or we can right click on our canvas on our screen and say create sketch. They both do the same thing. If you cannot see sketch up here in your toolbar, hit the create button there and you'll find it's probably there. If it's here but not there, you can click the three little dots and you can say pin to toolbar and it will pin it up there. For instance, if we regularly do coils, you can click the little buttons and pin to toolbar and then it's up there. Maybe you don't want this too cluttered and you only want the things that you like. You can unpin also. So we can unpin that one. Maybe we don't really do a lot of, whole creation, which we probably will. Bad example. Maybe we don't do a lot of form creation. That's probably getting a bit advanced. So maybe let's get rid of the form. So we go create form, little hamburger, and we were going to unpin from the toolbar. Anyway, so that's how you get icons onto your toolbar if they're not there. So let's click the create sketch. Now we need to create a sketch plane, or choose a plane rather, to create our sketch on. I like to use the top plane, so you can click the top. You can hold down your middle mouse button and that will rotate in 3D space, and you can see that corresponds with our little widget here. So top plane, top, you've got front plane, front, right plane on the right. So we want to go on the top, so we hover over that yellow. Is it yellow or orange, Sebastian? Maybe orange.
I think it was
Orange. Highlight over that orange square and click. Now that's where we're going to be creating our sketch.
Yes.
Okay, what should we do? A rectangle or a circle or a line? What should we start with, buddy?
We should do a circle.
A circle? Okay. To create a circle, we can click on the center diameter circle tool here. Again, if you can't see it there, go down to create, look for circle, and there it is there, center diameter circle. Or you can do a 2-point circle. We'll get to 2-point circle in a minute. Let's go center diameter circle, and let's just click anywhere to determine the center point of our circle. Click once. We're going to do about 100 millimeter circle, about there somewhere. Click again, And there's our circle, approximately 100 millimeters in diameter. If we create another circle over here and say we want this circle to be also about 100 millimeters, we can type in exactly 100, enter. Now our circle is exactly 100 millimeters. Now by doing that, we have determined the scale in which our sketches are going to be. And what I mean by that is if we double click on 100 and change that to 50, enter, both our circles are going to move together because that's the scale that it thinks we're dimensioning. Now that might not be your desired result, in which case you can come back over here, click on the border of this circle and drag it to any size you want. If you now come back to 50 and say you want it to be 55, they still both scale together. If you don't want that behavior, you can hit D on your keyboard for dimension, or you can come up here to sketch dimension. I like the shortcut D. And click once on the perimeter of that circle, and maybe we want this circle to be 150 millimeters. Okay, now those both circles are fully defined. Let's hit escape to get out of the dimension feature. And as you can see, let's drag him over here. We have two circles, two different dimensions. Now if we come back here and change this one, say back to 50, the other one's not affected because it's constrained to 150. Let's see what happens if we delete that dimension. Click on it once, delete, and then change our 50 to say 150, enter. They're still scaling back to 1 to 1. Okay, interesting. They never used to do that in Fusion 360. It's a new feature, I think. Anyway, moving on. Let's delete that undefined circle. Okay, let's create a 2-point circle. Create circle, 2-point circle. Now this one just uses 2 mouse clicks to give you a distance across the diameter of the circle as opposed to the center point. So rather than just clicking, this time we are going to type in a value, 250 millimeters, enter, and what that's done is both given us the dimension and the circle all at once. Saves us having to go back in and add the dimension later. Now the diameters of these circles are constrained, but the positions in space are not. Maybe we want that circle to be concentric to this circle. We can click the center point of that circle, and then up the top here we can click the coincident button, and then click the center point of this circle, and now those circles are both perfectly concentric. Let me undo that, and again, that's one way of doing it. The other way is to click one circle, hold down Control, click the other circle, and then use the concentric constraint up here. Achieves the same thing. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and extrude this into a cylinder. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this sketch. We can click finish here, or we can click finish here. Let's go finish up here, shall we? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now should we make a cylinder, buddy? What do you reckon?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, let's turn this circle into a cylinder. So
Let's see.
we have, again, the keyboard shortcut Q. And now that is going to enable the push-pull extrusion feature
If you don't know what Q is,
on the keyboard. What?
it's right next to W.
Yes.
It's up towards
The
the
top
A.
left-hand side.
Yes.
Above the A, next to
Yes.
the W.
Yes.
Very good, buddy. Okay, so we're going to hit Q for push-pull. Sorry, press-pull.
Yes.
Or we can say cancel, and we can click on the button extrude. Now, a press-pull and an extrude are more or less the same depending on the scenario. I'm not going to get too far into that, but if we go cancel here and I push the press pull button here, and then click on the circle that we want, it ends up turning it into an extrude. A little bit confusing, but all that matters really is that we're going to do an extrusion of this outer ring. So whether you click extrude, press pull, or the keyboard shortcut Q, they're all going to achieve the same thing. Okay, so press pull, the outer ring. Let's rotate with our middle mouse button so we can see our little arrow here, and we're going to hold and we're going to drag up. Well, we can just leave it there, or we can put an exact dimension in, say 210 millimeters. Enter, and there we have our first solid. Okay, say we want to dynamically change the dimensions of this cylinder. We can bring up the sketches by unhiding it here in our tree. So under sketches, you can now see the sketch there at the bottom, but we can't see the dimensions. So if you right click on the sketch and go show dimensions, we've now got an overlay of our sketch and dimensions on our model, and you can zoom in and you can change the value by double clicking right here and doing it that way as well. That's just another way of also changing your dimensions. As your models get a bit more complex, it can get a little bit cluttered, and that might not be desirable, so you might want your sketches turned off and specifically go into your sketches to make your changes. It just depends on your workflow. Okay, finish sketch. That's basic circle creation with basic solid creation. If we want to create, say, additions to this solid, we can create a new sketch. Come up here again, create a sketch, and this time not only do we have the planes to choose from, but we can create a sketch directly on the face of our previous solid. So let's go ahead and create a sketch on this face. Let's create another circle, and let's put it right there in the corner. Now, I didn't give it a dimension, so I'm going to now hit D on my keyboard and give that a dimension of, I don't know, 40 millimeters. That looks good. Now, let's hit escape to get out of the dimension tool so we don't accidentally keep putting on dimensions. Now, that circle is not constrained anywhere on this sketch plane. It's only got a dimension. If we want to, I know I talked about making it concentric, but say we want it to be in line with the center, but out here, if you hover over the middle of your circle and you get these dotted lines and we drag it out, now that circle is in line with the center of that circle, but it's not constrained. If you want it to be actually constrained, as in locked, see at the moment it can be moved, the more robust, better way to do it is to use our constraints up here. So I'm going to hit escape to unselect that circle, And we're going to do a horizontal vertical constraint. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to click the center point of that circle and the center point of that circle. Bang, those two circles are now horizontally constrained. If I hit escape to get out of that constraint feature, you can see I can now move that circle anywhere I want as long as it stays vertical with the center of that circle. Maybe you want it to be on a certain pitch diameter. So we can give it a distance. So give it a dimension here, or again on the keyboard shortcut, D for distance, D for dimension, I guess, from the center. Interesting enough, because that was the last thing we were moving, it was already selected. Let me hit escape quickly, escape again. If I hit sketch dimension now, click the center of that circle, it's now waiting for another input. Basically what I was getting at is if you have, hit escape to get out of those features, those commands, if you have a feature already selected and you say go now dimension, because that was selected, it thinks it wants you to dimension that particular selection. So now all we need to do is, we don't want to give it another diameter because that would be over constraining. We want to give it a dimension to the center of this one, so let's click there, and now you have that dimension. We can click once to place the dimension and then give it a size 100, enter. Now that circle is completely black, and let me get out of that dimension, let me escape there. Yeah, so that circle is now fully constrained, so it's completely black. We cannot do anything with it at all. If we want to change its diameter, we have to give it a new diameter here. If we want to change its position, we need to give it a new distance there. Okay, now we have our dimensions. Let's go ahead and see if we can over constrain this sketch. We're still in sketch plane here. See, sketch, finish sketch. We're still in the sketch mode. Let's give it a line. Create a line from the center here, and going vertically straight up. Let's not worry about any dimensions right now. We can hit our green check there to finish that. We can hit escape to get out of that. Now, we're already dimensioned to the center point. If we try and give it another dimension, D for dimension, from the line to the center point, it's going to warn us of over constraining. We can either just go cancel and get rid of that dimension, or we can say create a driven dimension. So what a driven dimension does is creates a reference dimension, 100 millimeters. That 100 millimeters is driven by this 100 millimeters here. If I hit escape to get out of that dimension, double click on 100 here and say change that to 105, our reference dimension, our driven dimension, also updates. You can't have independent dimensions of the same feature that conflict with each other, is basically what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's click on you, hit delete, get rid of you, click on you, delete you. Okay, let's finish that sketch. So we have our original solid with a new circle sketched on the face. Now we want to create that as a whole straight through the part. Again, most useful shortcut, Q for press pull. Select that circle. Now you can pull it away from the model, creating a boss, or you can pull it through the model, creating a cut. We go OK, and there's our circle going right through. Well, that's the basics of Sketch and creating a basic solid. I hope that helps and gets you started. I will come back to you with some more tutorials soon. Bye.